Well, hello everyone. Trucker Todd here. I realize I look like a ghost. Not sure what I can do about it. Let me see if I shut this curtain a little. Yeah, that's better. Now I still look like a ghost. I don't know what to do about that. We're just going to have to deal with it. I'm not sure how good turnout's going to be tonight. Several people have messaged me and said they were doing stuff and that they was going to have to catch it on the replay. But hopefully we can keep the show going for a little bit, can answer some of your questions. I haven't really been doing a lot online in the last 3 weeks, so a lot of you have got questions about what's going on. And the best way I think to do this, I got a lot of stories to tell you, is I'll tell y'all a story. We'll read some of your comments. I'll tell you another story, and that'll give y'all some time to type comments below. Also, YouTube has started a new community deal, and the best I can tell, it's kind of like a Discord. I'm not real sure how to use it, but it's a way that if we can figure it out, or if somebody knows, y'all can interact with me more, and you can interact with each other as well. So it seems like it'd be a great deal, and it doesn't sound like it's any additional cost. So it'll be a way for me to see more of your comments and not miss them. And then if there's somebody you see in the comments here that you've got questions for, the way I understand it, we'd all be able to kind of interact there as like a chat room or a Discord style thing. Hopefully we can get that figured out here pretty quick. Before we go any further though, I got 4 channel members I need to say hello to. Not sure how many of them will be here tonight. We got Robbie Ross, Ramon, Adam, and Gary. Thank y'all for your support of the channel. They're basically doing it out of the goodness of their heart. I hadn't been able to give them any additional benefits in the way of content or anything like that lately, so they are greatly appreciated for supporting the channel. I'm going to go ahead and read a few of these comments, and then we'll get with the first story. Reason I'm doing that is give people more time to get in here. All right, first in here today was moderator and channel member Robbie Ross. He says, hello, friends, just west of Albuquerque. I bet I can guess where he's at. I bet he's at his favorite truck stop over there. And so that's generally where he stops at when he says west of Albuquerque. Here's one of the people that won't be here tonight. Roger Berry, part of the replay gang, back to work early in the morning, headed to Louisville to grab a load of GE appliances for Grand Prairie, Texas. Hope all is well. Stay safe, my friend. How is Racing Ray? So he told me yesterday that he's feeling the best he's felt in several weeks. He's getting ready to start training for dialysis at home. They're beginning tomorrow, and so he's anxious for that to begin. He's doing some rearranging and remodeling on his house to make things more convenient for that lifestyle change. But yeah, I would say that he's the best that he's been in several weeks. Thank y'all for all the prayers and for all the concern regarding him. Let's see. Michael says, evening. Good evening, sir. And let's see. We got, my name is Nobody. Good evening. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator, says, thanks for using my Hawaii pic for the background. Yeah, I was just fixing to get to this. I got kind of made fun of in the last video for saying I had some sunset pictures that I would use as a background soon. This is one of them. This is from when Robbie Ross went to Hawaii, and he sent me several pictures. This is one of them of a sunset there, and I just wanted to share that with y'all. Let's jump into a couple of stories, and then let's read these last 2 comments, and then I'll give you the first story. Mud Truckin'. Hello, Trucker Todd. Long time no hear. Been busy. Yeah, I've been busy, but not in a good way. You're gonna see with the final story we've got of the night. It's been a horrible week, and I haven't ran in a couple of days, we'll talk about that as well. P.U. Patel says, good evening, Sir Todd. Hey, P.U., thank you for being here tonight. All right, let's start where we last left off. So when we last left off, I was in Hobbs, New Mexico. I had delivered some rent-to-own furniture in La Mesa and in Hobbs, and that was on a Thursday. It was the 5th of June, and I went home for the night, spent Thursday night at the house, and left Friday about lunchtime on Friday. Now, Thursday night, we got hammered with a horrible hailstorm in Lubbock, Texas. There was tornadoes. Both my vehicles got pretty extensive hail damage. I'm still trying to get the car insurance to come out and look at the vehicles. I don't know if they're just dragging their feet or if they've just got so many claims that it's taken time to get around to all of them. But as I'm telling you about this, I'm reminding myself that tomorrow I need to make some phone calls and find out about that. So got through that. Fortunately, all the tornadoes went around where I live, the part of Lubbock I'm in, but a lot of Lubbock got hit pretty hard. Now, here's where things get fun, and here's the first story. I go to Owens Corning in Amarillo, and I have to be there by 3. I just squeak in, get there like 2:50, 2:55. They load me, and I drive up to Big Cabin, Oklahoma. Spend the night there, wake up the next morning, and wouldn't you know it, I got a flat tire on my trailer. Well, there's a Schneider truck about 4 or 5 trucks down that's locked their keys in their car. And this is on a Friday, this would be Saturday morning now. And he says, I asked the roadside guy there that's trying to unlock the Schneider truck, hey, after you do that, could you come repair a flat on a trailer? Nope, we got calls all day. The soonest I could do it is Monday. I'm like, well, I'm not waiting 2 days for a flat repair. So I called the Loves. Same thing. Loves says, hey, it's going to be 5 or 6 hours, but we can fix your trailer flat. So I went over there and sat 5 or 6 hours, got that fixed, got on the road, started driving. I got to Fenton, Missouri, and stopped to get diesel. Now, I turn off the truck, I fill the tanks, I go inside, get my receipt, come back out, and the truck won't start. And so I fought with it, started calling roadside places to see who could come out and look at it. And they were the same thing. It's going to be 5 or 6 hours before we can get there. So at this point, I'm in the fuel island. And I'm stuck. There's nothing I can do. I said, well, I guess I'll have to wait the 5 or 6 hours. Come on out. Now, with my insurance company, I've got roadside assistance. And basically, you don't know how much you're going to be charged. Like, there's a deductible, and then they'll pay up to $500 for some stuff. But depending on where the roadside people come from and all of that, there's no telling what you're going to owe. You basically have to write them a blank check. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll call around. I'll find somebody myself. That way I know what I'm paying. So I found this place. They said for $395, we'll come out and look at it. That'll give you 2 hours minimum charge that we'll look at it. After that, it'll be more. I said, all right. So I waited it was probably 5 or 6 hours. By the way, that road ranger in Fenton, super nice people. They couldn't have been more understanding. He's like, hey, if this was a weekday, we'd be really pressuring you to move this truck or get it towed out of the way. But with it being a weekend, we're kind of slow. It's fine. You can sit right here till the repair guy got there. Now, the repair guy gets there, and I've told him, hey, I checked the battery post. I've checked this, I've checked that. And of course, he goes back and double checks everything I've said. And I get why they do that for 2 reasons. They're trying to burn some of that 2 hours. And 2, they don't know if I know what I'm doing or not. Might have said I tightened something and missed something. I might not know what I'm doing. Um, some of you have asked me that have heard this story. I did crawl under the truck. I did take a hammer and beat on the starter to try to get it loose, and that did not work. Um, so the guy gets there. He goes, double checks my work, makes sure that I did everything correctly, and then he gets a pair of needle nose pliers and arcs across the starter solenoid, and we're able to get the truck started. Now, he said that when he arced across, that his needle nose got red hot, and so it took a lot of power to kick that starter loose, and it took several tries. We didn't get it, he didn't do it once, and it did it. So he advised me not to turn the truck off until we could get a starter put on it. It was like 4 a.m., and I didn't want to sit there any longer. I had a load going to Indianapolis that I needed to get delivered. And so for basically the next 2 days, I did not turn the truck off. I've got 2 keys, and I would lock a set in with it running. If I had to go in the truck stop or something, we left it running for 2 days. The guy said, Todd, you may turn this truck off and it may start right back up. But he said, eventually, that starter's fried. It's going to leave you stranded. And so I was real scared that I would accidentally turn it off out of habit. And I almost did one day. I was trying to turn the lights off, and I almost turned the key off instead. And that would have been disastrous, because when we got it to the shop in Wisconsin, we pulled it in the bay, and he said, all right, go ahead and turn it off. I want to try it and see what it does. Turned it off. It wouldn't start. He got to the starter solenoid, tried to arc across it, and it wouldn't arc across anymore. The starter went completely out. And so anyway, I'm at the shop here in Wisconsin at this point in the story, and we'll jump back into the few of the comments, and then we'll continue on with the story. But at this point, I'm pretty tired, and I'm just kind of relaxing in the driver's lounge while they look it over. Now, I went to Wisconsin because the guy that I bought the truck from is friends with a shop up there, and for expeditious reasons to get the truck in and out quickly, that's why I went there. When we find out what's wrong with it, you're going to say, hey, Todd, you could have went to a TA. They could have done this repair. And you're probably right, and they probably could have done it in about the same amount of time. But at this point, we don't know what's wrong with it, if it's a wiring issue, if it's a starter issue. And so I just wanted to get somewhere where they would drop everything and work on my truck right then, because my number one fear is downtime. You guys know there's trucking companies that have maintenance repair programs, and it's not that they'll take care of 80% of the repair or something like that. It's that if you're down for several days because they got trucks ahead of you, or they got to order parts or something like that, downtime will kill you much quicker than repair bills will. All right, I'm going to jump back into some of the comments, and then we'll continue with the story here in just a minute. Risky Cars. Hey, Todd, Fly Rabbit has been bringing your name up a lot lately. Really, I hadn't had a chance to watch him. What's he saying? And Kid Behind the Wheel, long time no see. Yes, sir. I didn't realize that it had been this long, and I was like, man, I was at a Love's earlier today, and there was a TA 8 miles away, and my signal was so bad at the Love's. It's going to come up in one of the later stories too, in this video, that I had to move, and I thought, well, I'm going to try to do a video. And technically, it says my upload speeds aren't enough that I shouldn't be able to do one, but so far it seems to be working. And so we're going to try to do one tonight. All right, let me tell you a little bit more of the story while y'all are typing your comments. So we get to this shop. They pull it in. And I've also got a small oil leak I want them to look at. And so we determined the oil leak. If you remember back, my oil pressure sending unit that the Loves put in for me, which I could have probably done it. It's just the way the plug is on the end of it, I was afraid I'd knock it off trying to get a wrench behind it. So I let them do it. They didn't put any thread tape on it, and it's seeping at that oil pressure sending unit. So I got to get that fixed. And then they put the starter on it, and it's been good ever since. But there's been a lot of other stuff go on, and so the bill for that starter, and I do feel like they ripped me off a little bit, but I was grateful at the same time. I had called the dealership that morning, and because I was going to pick a starter up and bring it with me, and it was like $565. And when they ended up, then, well, let me see how I tell this story. So I knew that, but then the guy that I'm buying the truck from says, "Hey, Todd, I think I got a starter at my house. We can save you some money." So he put it in one of the trailers there at the shop, and we took that in there. Evidently, there's two different starters for this year model. Some of them are, and some of you experts will know I may be quoting wrong here. One of them's like 11 teeth, one of them's 12 teeth. Mine was the opposite of what he had, and so we ended up having to get a starter. They went and got it from Fleet Pride, and it ended up being $700 and something. And so I realized shops mark stuff up a little bit, but I was not expecting it to be a 30% markup, especially getting it from Fleet Pride. I figured it'd be cheaper through Fleet Pride. But at this point, I was so glad to be able to have the truck operate the way it's supposed to, and it is what it is. It ended up being almost, with labor and everything, almost $1,100, like 1081.69, and then I spent $395 on the roadside. And so yeah, that's how that went. So once I get out of Wisconsin, let me get over to that page. Well, you know what? We got some comments. Let's jump back into the comments for a second. Got Robbie Ross. He's been a channel member and a moderator for 20 months. He said, membership has its privileges. Don't forget to thumbs up. Yes, sir. Please give this video a thumbs up. It helps me in the YouTube algorithms, makes this recommendation to more people so more people see the videos. Steve Given. Hey, Todd, I'm late joining. Well, I'm glad you could make it, Steve. Glad you're here. Risky Cars. He said he thinks you have been trolling him. I don't know why I would do that. Not sure what the benefit of that is. I wish him the best. I just can't go along for the train ride. Mac T, did you see Warner won their appeal for that nuclear verdict? No, I did not see that. When did that happen? I'll try to find that news story and do a news story on it. Mud Trucking, I've been driving for Tyson Foods, and every time they pull me in for the shop, I lose a day or two. I check. Yeah, that's all it takes. And I know some people. I know a person that they didn't even do anything wrong. They were parked at a truck stop. Their truck got backed into, and their truck was in the body shop for over 3 weeks waiting for a hood and things like that. So sometimes you can do everything right, and still have a bad experience. Silos, they rip off many folks, not just you. It's no big deal. Well, I would disagree a little bit. I would say anytime any of us gets ripped off, it's a big deal. That may be kind of par for the course and something that happens, but I wouldn't say it's not a big deal. Yes, risk. Alex says, yes, risky. I heard that also. Yeah, I haven't been able to watch his stuff here lately. I don't know what his thoughts or opinions are, um, but I'm not trolling him. I wish I had the time. Mac T says freight waves. All right, I'll check it out. I will check it out. So let's get back to the story. I get out of there. I pick up a load in Manawa, Wisconsin, going to Mount Crawford, Virginia. And it was pretty non eventful. Everything went well on that trip. Then I picked a load up in Virginia, West Winchester, Virginia, going to Dunn, North Carolina. And again, another uneventful deal. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good about things. Actually, I may have missed. Let me double check my notes here. No, we're still good. We're getting to the next story, though. And then from North Carolina, I go to Mattoon, Illinois. Now, here's another story for you. I'm going to skip ahead a little. A lot of work took place here. I eventually end up in Webb City, Missouri, at an awful place. And this place was awful. But while I'm there, we're standing in line, and this lady's ahead of me. She works for Variant, which is a subsidiary or whatever of U.S. Express, and she wrestled with the English language a little bit. I'm not going to guess her ethnicity or nothing like that. There was definitely a language barrier. They told her to slide her wheels and back into dock 17 or whatever. So she says, my trailer doesn't have a slide. And they're like, what do you mean it doesn't have a slide? Is it broke? No, it doesn't slide. It never has. And of course, it's a 53-foot trailer. It has to slide. Well, the guy standing behind her, who I had talked to, he said he'd been driving about 3 years. He says, it's got to have a slide. I'll go out there and help you. Now, her wheels are slid all the way forward. So I check in. I go back out to my truck, and they come over. And he says, hey, can you help us slide the wheels on this trailer? There's a bar there. I said, a bar? He says, yes. I said, sure, I'll come over and help. So I get out, I go over there. The bar that he's talking about is at the very front of the slide, and it's so that it keeps it from going too far forward behind the skirts to where you can't reach the sliding mechanism, the little button that you pull to slide the wheels. And this guy that claims he's been driving for 3 years wants to slide the wheels further forward. And I said, that's not what the shipping office wants. They want you to slide your wheels all the way back. He's like, are you sure? Yes, I've been doing this almost 30 years. Trust me. They want your wheels slid backwards. So I help them slide the wheels, and they go on their merry way. But it got me thinking, how does somebody make it through training, get their own truck, they're out driving solo, and they don't even know that the wheels on their trailer slide? Now, maybe working for a big company like Variant, maybe they don't ever have to slide them very often. Maybe it's drop and hook everywhere. It's a lot of light loads. But you would think somewhere in the first week of training that you would teach your student how to slide their wheels. Secondly, if you've been driving for 3 years, and not only do you not know how to slide the wheels, but you think you should slide them forward instead of backwards before backing in a dock, man, the lack of training and knowledge out here on the road right now is just overwhelming. But so I got them in a dock, and then I left. I guess they had to get somebody else to help them slide their wheels. But when they got ready to leave, P.U. Patel, Fly Rabbit did a live with Michelle, and I commented saying she should bring you back to Swift since you did very well there. Yeah, I still like Swift. Um, I'm not going to be able to go back to Swift anytime soon. Uh, they've got a 5-year uh, requirement for the accident. The accident's almost 2.5 years old. So there's as much as I like Swift, as much as I like Michelle, there's no chance of me being able to go back there for the next foreseeable future, at least 2.5 to 3 years. And I don't know if I will then. Let's see what the market's doing. I'm pretty happy doing what I'm doing right now. It's by no means perfect. That story's coming up here in a little bit later in the show. But yeah, it's something that I know everybody'd like me to go back to Swift. It can happen right now. Alex, apparently if you switch 5 companies in a year, you might get a few trolls. I don't know why he's even mad. Yeah, have I ever had points in my life where I switched jobs a lot? Yeah. Yep. I went through a spell where I was with a real small company in Lubbock, and I stayed there way longer than I should. And so a lot of companies didn't want to hire me back initially because I'd been off the road for over a year. And I went through about 4 or 5 companies where the first company that said, yeah, we'll take you, I'd run to them. I didn't do any research, any background checking. Whoever said yes, I would jump on it. And, I'd work there 90 days or 4 months, and I'd go, this place sucks. And I'd move on to another company, and I finally had to get to a point where I was like, I've got to stay somewhere, because at that point my record was clean, no tickets, no accidents, just an unstable job history. And so I got it turned around, but I can see how someone could get in that predicament. But yeah, I don't know all the details of all his job changes, why he does it. Right now, he seems like he's really happy at Swift. And as far as I know, he's got me blocked. I don't think we're able to communicate. I would like to have one more phone conversation with him. I think there's some things that needs to be said, but I'm definitely, this isn't the place for me to air that out or nothing like that. If he wants to cross that bridge, we'll cross that bridge. But sometimes it's best, especially in the YouTube back rooms, to just go your separate ways. And he and I may be at that point now. Risky cars. Well, I think he's getting so much hate now because he's recruiting. Like, who would listen to that clown about what company to go to? I think everybody is a recruiter to a degree, and let me tell you what I mean. If you go see a movie at the theaters and you like it, you tell your friends, you go, hey, that's a great movie, I like that movie. Or if you play a great video game, you tell your other video game friends, hey, that was a great video game, you should check it out. That's a form of recruiting. And in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with it. The same thing is true in trucking. If you have a great job, I don't think there's nothing wrong with telling your friends, telling your viewers that you like where you work, helping them if they want to get started there, things like that. As we speak right now, this headset that's on my head, I'm reviewing it for a company, this one and another one. And that's part of why I wear it in this video, is so that we can test the sound quality and I can give you an honest review. The place I'm reviewing it for actually asked me, they said, be rough with it, use it like a truck driver would use it, and give us your honest review of both headsets. We really want to know what you think, which is very unusual. And honestly, There about 90% of the things on it I really, really like. There are a few things that I think could be improved, could be changed, and I'm going to talk about those when I put that video out. Um, some might view that as recruiting. It's going to have a 20% discount for my viewers. Honestly, I don't know if I'm getting a commission off that or not. Um, I get on here and tell the truth, and I've noticed everything works out when I do that. Part of the reason why here we are 3 years later and people still talk about me at Swift is because I was honest. I was making the money I was saying I was making. I was happy with the people I was working with. The people I did have grievances with, I aired it on this channel. The problem is, and I'm not necessarily talking about Fly Rabbit here, um, he can determine if the shoe fits or not. When you just come on and say, hey, I came back here for the sole purpose of recruiting. If you don't put me as your referral, I'm not going to help you. Things like that. I think that's a misstep. Those of you that called me when I was at Swift, heck, those of you that call me now, I make absolutely nothing with helping you. For the last week, I've been helping a guy that's at Dart. I make absolutely nothing off of that. Nothing at all. I've made a friend out of the deal, and that's cool. Same thing with Swift. I still help Swift drivers. I still talk to Swift drivers. It's never been financially motivated as far as whether I'll help you or not. Now, do I love a good referral bonus? Sure, I'll take it. But me getting a referral bonus is not contingent on whether I'll talk to you on the phone, whether I'll help you or not. If I determine to return to Swift at 3 years from now, it won't be contingent on a referral bonus. Sure, I'll love them if I get them, and I'll probably get a lot of them. But I'm going to help people either way, as much as I'm able to possibly. So I think that's. I think his some of what he's doing is a little misguided, and hopefully that'll correct itself in time. I don't think Fly Rabbit's a bad guy, but I think sometimes we can be motivated by the wrong things, and it can make us mistrust people we should trust, and it could make us see things that aren't there. Risky cars. Todd, those guys can't slide wheels are probably the people Fly Rabbit recruited. You know, I think he's innocent because he's never worked at Variant, but I mean, I wanted to slap the trainer of that poor girl and of that guy that claimed he had been driving 3 years. I didn't blame them. It's not their fault they didn't know. I've shared this. The very first reefer load I ever did back in 2004, I went through orientation at Prime Inc. Now, this is 21 years ago, and they never told us how to turn the reefer on, how to work it, nothing. They gave us a pulp thermometer, all our stuff, said, go hook to this trailer and go. So I got to my first receiver, and I called in. I'm like, hey, I didn't think about it till now, but you guys didn't tell me how to work this reefer. And they gave me some real generic, well, we're not sure, blah, blah, blah. It was in the evening. So I walked up to another driver and I said, hey, this is my very first reefer load. Could you show me how to work this thing? And he gave me about a 5-minute class. And that's how I learned to do reefer work. And for the next 8 or 10 years, that's mostly what I did was reefer work. And imagine if I'd have been at a warehouse that there weren't any other drivers there, or imagine if, it was like a lot of drivers now. That was 21 years ago when drivers would still help drivers. Imagine nowadays if I tried to get somebody to help me, and probably be out of luck. But I just got fortunate that I found a veteran driver that was willing to teach me. Ghost driver. Variant US Express SA. Yep. There's a story. I don't know if y'all watch Trucking Answers. He did a video a few years ago where he was talking about Variant and an article he read, and the president was saying that US Express, I'm paraphrasing here, US Express had got such a bad reputation that they had created Variant as a way to try to get more drivers in, and that if Variant got a bad reputation, they'd just start another subsidiary like that. So I found that interesting that that would be their response instead of, hey, we'll take driver feedback, we'll try to get better. Nope, it's just, we'll start another name. And Red Raider Reloading, who is a moderator. Hey, what's up, Trucker Todd? How have you been? We're getting to that. It's I'm telling you the good stories now. We're fixing to get into my misfortune. I've got through the starter story. If y'all missed that, go back and check that out at the start of the video. And we're working into my bad luck returning one more time. Risky Cars Todd, he said that he came back mostly because of recruiter bonuses. Again, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I just don't think that should be the main reason. Primarily, your number one function should always be to drive the truck. And look, the easiest way to recruit is to be successful where you're at. That's how you recruit. Drive the truck. Deliver loads on time, pick up loads on time, deliver them. And if you're happy where you're at, you don't have to say, call my recruiter. People see that and they want to be a part of what you're a part of. And I'm not saying he does do that or doesn't do that, but I mean, you can go back and watch my old Swift videos. People comment, hey, Todd, you really look happy. Todd, I can tell you like it there. Wow, Todd, you just showed a settlement. You're doing great. I didn't think it was possible to make that kind of money at Swift. All those top comments are there. People want to know how I recruited so well there. It's by driving the truck. It's by being successful. It's by being, heck, my dispatcher that I had at Swift, he and I were talking this week through Facebook Messenger. We still have communication. That building a good relationship with people in the office. I'm not talking about butt kissing. I'm talking about just being a nice guy. And, it should recruiting bonuses, if you've got a YouTube channel, factor into it. Yeah, you should say, hey, if I go there and drive the truck well, if I'm successful, then yeah, this may be an added bonus. But right after I left Swift last time, they cut their referral bonuses from $1,500 to $500. So if I'd have stayed there and all I was after was a good recruiting bonus, I would have got cut in a third. And so that's why you got to be able to drive the truck, be successful in the truck, and then let the chips fall where they may on that other stuff. Now, incidentally, right before Fly Rabbit went back to Swift, they did re-increase those bonuses back to $1,500 like they were before. I don't know if that was a contributing factor to him going back there. I think it's a bad idea to tell drivers, the only way I'm going to help you is if I can make money off of you. And what you'll find is if you don't do that, if you just say, hey, I'm going to help you whether you help me or not, people want to put you down. I had people calling Swift a couple of days before orientation saying, I'm not going to orientation if you don't have Todd as my referral bonus. I want Todd to get that money. And that wasn't me pressuring them to do that. That was them feeling obligated because of all the help and advice I had given them behind the scenes. And I really don't like talking about this because it sounds like I'm bragging on myself or I'm beating my chest. Look how strong I am. Look how great I am. I'm telling you guys how to make money with referral bonuses. Get out here and drive the truck. Be successful. Be happy. That'll do it quicker than anything you're going to say in a YouTube video. Red Raider Reloading. Funny, Fly Rabbit said he would never get his hazmat, and then I seen a video where he said he was going to get it. I think he's part female as much as he changes his mind. Well, again, if he wants to get his hazmat, that's fine. I don't think it'll really benefit him at Swift. Now, there may be other companies where it would benefit him, and maybe he's planning on leaving Swift and going to a company like that. For example, in Lubbock, if I went to work at O'Reilly's, they require hazmat. But at Swift, I think it's less than 5% or less than 1% of their loads are hazmat. And so I don't know that it would benefit you that greatly to have hazmat. And, it's an added expense. And so I probably wouldn't do it if I was a Swift driver. But like I said, if I was going to O'Reilly's, or if he's got another company that he's viewing, that he's considering, then maybe it makes sense for him to get his hazmat. Kid behind the wheel. Yeah, that's crazy. He blocked Todd. So it happens. And what I call it is he bet on the wrong horse. It's no secret he helped me get my live going, offered me a ton of advice, but it's also no secret I helped him get his live going, gave him a ton of advice, showed him how to use StreamYard, things like that. Since then, he's made other friends and other connections on YouTube. He feels like they can help his channel more than I can, or this is my assessment of things, and he's decided to go that way. I've been told that he's mad about some endorsement deals I've done or have in the works. But when he gets mad about that, ask him how he got his ES Advantage fuel card that he promotes on his channel. He got it from me. And I've never complained once about him promoting ES Advantage on his channel. I've never complained once about him doing Tuesday and Thursday night videos in my time slot. There's thousands and thousands of YouTubers. It's impossible for us to not occasionally step on each other's toes, do a video when somebody else is doing a video, promote a product that somebody else is promoting. It's impossible for that not to happen. So I think it's a little juvenile. I think it's a little childish. I wish him the best, but I'm not trolling him. Ghost Driver, it's all he said, she said. Yeah, the world of YouTube, for sure. I had no idea what I was getting into when I started a YouTube channel. He even calls himself a diva. He's more than a part female. That's the last guy I would listen to about what company I should go to work for. I've been thinking about going to Mercer. Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't know a ton about Mercer. I know when I went to Matt's, when was it, 2023? I think it was 2023. It might have been 2022. Anyway, the last time I was at Matt's, I had a really, really extensive conversation with Mercer. Not to go to work there, but we talked about me interviewing them on the channel, them talking about what they had. They kind of gave me the spiel on their company, and at the time, it didn't sound like a bad deal. I met a lot of really nice people at Mercer, and I do not have a negative opinion about Mercer. Now, I have not talked to a lot of Mercer drivers since then, so I don't know if it's a good company or a bad company, but they made a good first impression on me, I'll say that. And they would be on my short list of companies to consider if I left Scott. Maybe some of y'all in here know more about them than I do. Ghost Driver says, if you're going to get hazmat, run a tank. Yeah, I had a good friend in Washington State. He's not alive no more. He used to pull a fuel truck, and he always tried to talk me into doing that because he was home pretty much every day. He made good money, and I thought, man, the way people go through these parking lots, I could see myself in a convenience store parking lot unloading fuel and a truck running or a car running into me because they're speeding through the parking lot, or somebody run me off the road on the highway or something like that. I always worried about fuel exploding. Where I live in Lubbock, there's a lot of dairy runs, and at times I've considered pulling a tanker there, a food grade tanker, pulling milk But I would have to do it as an owner operator. They don't pay their company drivers but like $60,000 a year, and that's no bueno. Ted Van Buskirk, hello again, my friend. Hope things get better for you. Yeah, we're fixing to get into that part of the story, Ted. I know you know a little bit of it, but a lot of the guys in here don't. My first world problems really got me this week. All right, after this comment, I'm going to go back into story mode, and then that'll give y'all a chance to type comments, and we'll come back to them. Gary Cook, channel member, this is my first time being late, but good evening. It's good to have you here, sir. I appreciate you being here. So we got the slide story told. Now we're going to get into the good stuff. So I had a load from Seagraves, Texas to Williston, North Dakota. And for about a week now, I've had intermittent problems with my SRO Logistics email. Now, some of you are going to sit here and say, well, what's the big deal? It's just email. For what I'm doing, it's critical. It's how I negotiate with the majority of brokers. It's how they send me rate cons to sign. It's how I turn in paperwork to get paid. And so it's critical. Well, what happened was I got here on the 27th, which I believe, let me go back and look. The 27th was Friday. And I delivered that morning, early morning. Now, we've been having problems with the email, and what it'll do is it'll let me send and receive emails for a while, and then it'll all of a sudden block them and say that the server thinks I'm spam. And the only way to fix it is I have to contact Scott. He has to reset my email, and then it'll work for 10 or 15 minutes, and it'll do it again. And if it's late at night or something, it's a big problem because you know, I don't want to wake Scott up in the middle of the night to reset it. And so it's a real hassle. Friday morning, he reset it, and I was able to get my paperwork turned in after the delivery before it went down again. Now, Friday, he and I are talking, and he's concerned. He's frustrated. I'm the only driver that he's ever had this happen with. And he's like, Todd, I'm afraid one of these days I'm going to go to reset it, and they're going to say we can't reset it no more. I said, I agree. I'm concerned about that too. I said, why don't I create another email outside of the SRO Logistics universe, and we move everything over there. Now, for those that don't know, I have 12 apps, I believe it is, roughly. Let me just count real quick because somebody will say, no, you don't. 9. No, I got more than that. I got 14 apps that I regularly use, or 13, 12. Nope. Here's the truth, because 2 of them are something else. I've got 12 apps that I regularly use, and you've got to contact all 12 of those apps and get the email changed. At this point, it's Friday afternoon, and it's too late in the day to get that done with the brokers. I'm also in Williston, North Dakota, so I'm probably going to be stuck here. There's not, let's just say it's not the freight capital of the world, and not being able to email is going to be a big deal. If it may work for a while, but when it stops and wants 2-factor authentication and all of that, I'm screwed. And so I know Friday evening that I'm probably going to be stuck here till Monday anyway, and probably Tuesday unless I can get something quick off the DAT board or something. Now the DAT board is outside the SRO Logistics universe, so I can still use it. It's all the click and goes, the Schneiders, the JB Hunts, the Convoys, the ATSs, the RXOs, all of those that are in jeopardy right now. And so Scott and I are troubleshooting on the phone. We're trying to figure this out. And some of the stuff he sent said I might have malware on my phone. And So we determined, or mostly I determined, I was going to factory reset my phone and see if that removed the malware and maybe the phone would work then. So I factory reset my phone. I did not know this because I'd never had to do it before. iCloud will only load back onto your phone if you're on Wi-Fi. Well, for Wi-Fi, I usually use the hotspot on my phone. Once my phone's factory reset, I don't have that till it gets reset. And I can't create a Wi-Fi for my phone from my phone, if that makes sense. So I go to that Love's and I buy 4 hours of Wi-Fi. And I think for sure this will get iCloud stuff back. It may take a little longer, but it'll get it back. Well, it'll cruise along, and every time it gets close to being done, somebody will call me, and a call would trigger it and send it back to zero. So I had twice that I got it down to 2 minutes left, and a call would come in and it would wipe it out and start back over. And let's just say I was mildly frustrated. And I was a real ball of joy to talk to if any of you talked to me Friday evening. And so what I ended up doing is Friday night, I let it run all night long. And by midday Saturday, I had everything back on my phone. And the email has kind of intermittently worked. It was blocking them again for a little bit. Then it started working. And I've been using it as sparingly as possible. But the long story short is there's no loads really around within a 300-mile radius of here at this point because it's Saturday evening. That's nothing unusual or rare. And so we're looking at probably Monday or possibly even Tuesday before I can get up and going again. Definitely didn't need this right here, right now. It's at the end of the month when all the bills come due, your rent, your car payments, things like that. And so I was planning to go home for the 4th of July. My church has a big deal every year on the 4th of July. And now this little setback between my phone and the email may make it to where I can't go home for the 4th of July. Now, I want to be very clear here before I jump back into the comments. This is not Scott's fault in any way. He's gone above and beyond. He's done everything he could possibly do to try to help me get this fixed. He's devoted a lot of time to it, a lot of reading to it, a lot of troubleshooting to it. It's not his fault. It's not my fault. It's nothing I've done that's caused this. And that's what makes it frustrating. It's nice when you have a villain, when you have somebody you can blame, and we just don't have that here. And it's unfortunate, but hopefully we'll have it back up and going soon. All right, we got a couple more comments. Let's jump into those. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator. I meant to ask you this yesterday. Was there any major updates that might have changed settings? So part of what we did in the troubleshooting is we went through and checked all the server settings, and we mirrored mine to his. We put my server settings the same as his, and it didn't fix anything. So we're not real sure what caused it. My phone's a little weird because I'm running dual SIM, meaning I have 2 phone numbers from 2 different networks on my phone. And also, I'm a beta tester for Apple. And so those things could have been contributing factors. I don't think so, because I'm probably not the only guy in the company running dual SIMs on their phone. And so I don't think that's it. If it continues to be an issue, if this new email I've created, if it continues to be an issue, then I'll go back to 2 phones and just carry 2 phones everywhere. I really don't want to do that, but I will if I have to. Okay, let's see here. Ted Van Buskirk says, what is the name of that fuel card? I have a friend that wants to get signed up. Yeah, let me send you the link real quick. Give me just a second. It's on my website too, truckertodd.net, but I can send it to you here just as easy. I'm going to put it in the comments. You can just copy it and paste it. And then if you need me to text it to you later, I can as well. All right, there's it'll ask you about 5 or 6 questions, and then they'll contact you and give you the custom information for your situation. Also, I was telling somebody on the phone earlier today that Mudflap has had a lot of good deals lately. And so I've got a link for Mudflap as well. It's in the description of this video. If you click on it, scroll down, you get $10 worth of free fuel. I get it. It's not a fill up, but $10 is $10. Ghost Rider, when I had my issue with the company email, I deleted everything out of my computer and re-put it in. It has worked fine ever since. Yeah, it's weird because like even Friday night or Saturday night, whenever it was, it quit working. It was spamming me again, and then all of a sudden it started working again. And I know when it starts working because I get a whole bunch of emails all at once, like in a big batch. All right, we're caught up on the comments, and I'm out of stories. So if y'all got something you want to talk about, throw it up there and we'll get it talked about. We've done good tonight. I didn't think that many people was going to be here. As soon as I said I was going live, a bunch of them, I'm going to have to watch the replay. I always got to take my hat off. Y'all are going to see my shiny head. I hope it doesn't blind anybody. But it is hot. Ted Van Buskirk says he has Mudflap. Thank you. Yes, sir. Tell him to compare both. When you get that ES Advantage card, they got an app where you can check fuel prices with your discount and compare it to Mudflap and use whichever one's the better deal. Sometimes it's going to be Mudflap, sometimes it's going to be ES Advantage, but it'll be better than almost any other fuel card out there. And we got Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator, with a $20 donation. Thank you for that, sir. Little something for your downtime, my friend. Thank you very much. I could probably apply that to blood pressure medication. I was pretty upset this weekend and stressed, and you know how it is when you get so upset you don't even want to get out of bed. You're like, screw it, I'm going back to bed. But I definitely appreciate that. All righty, let's see. It shows let me see if I missed anything. Sometimes StreamYard doesn't put everything yet. We still got 31 people here, so I don't want to end it up, but we got to have some stuff to talk about. Reese Chapo beetroot juice and capsules help with blood pressure, Trucker Todd. Yeah, 99% of the time mine's really good, but when I hit those high levels of stress, for those that don't know, pre-stroke, I had a terrible temper. I tell people before the stroke, I was like Captain Kirk. I'd fight with a fence post over nothing. After the stroke, I was more like Captain Picard. I would try to negotiate instead. And man, It's tough when you don't have nobody to be mad at. Uh, I can't I can't get mad at Scott. He's done everything humanly possible to help. And I can't get mad at myself because I didn't do nothing wrong. It's just my luck. I mean, he actually said, I've never had this happen before. I'm stumped. I don't know why it's doing this. I don't either. And some of my viewers that have called me have said, well, Todd, I wonder if somebody hacked your email. And I don't think so because none of the other emails at the company have been hacked. So I don't think it's a hack job. I mean, it could be malware. I don't know if it's because I'm a beta tester for Apple. I don't know if it's because I run dual SIM. I don't know if it's just because of the volume of emails that go in and out of my phone every day, if that's what triggered it. But it's got to stop because in this market, you need every advantage you have. And when some of those advantages go away, it makes it real difficult. Channel member Robbie Ross and moderator, I know I didn't have to talk you back off the ledge. Yeah, you almost want to do like they do on some of these TV shows, just leave the truck, hitchhike to Alaska, and live in the mountains. Wait for a bear to eat me. Thank you for this, Gary Cook, who's a channel member. He gave me something to talk about. So when I was going through Nebraska, I got pulled into a scale, and they checked something they had never checked on me before. He got out this deal and dipped it in my fuel tank to make sure I wasn't using dyed diesel fuel, which is basically off-road diesel fuel. In a semi, it should only be used in a reefer and never in a truck. And we're sitting there talking, super nice guy. I said, man, I figured you was out here checking English. And he's like, no, we're not doing that yet. And so I started asking him about how they did it because I heard they were having drivers read Dr. Seuss. He said, no, here we're using a card they made us. We'll ask them to read stuff on there. And he said, we can kind of tell by talking to them if they're proficient in English or not. And so they're definitely on the lookout, but super nice DOT officer. And it was a slow day. If I'd have had more time, I'd have seen if I could interview him or talk to him a little longer. But I was in kind of a hurry. That load that I delivered up here in Williston was kind of tight, and I needed to be moving. Mac T, when I'm mad, I just fight my coat like Ric Flair used to. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'll tell you, and I don't know what y'all do. Maybe this is something we'll talk about. What do y'all do when you're angry to blow off steam, or when you're bored to stay awake while you're driving? For me, it's 80s rock and roll. And sometimes I'll branch it out into other forms of music, but the 80s hair bands, Metallica, Bon Jovi, Poison, I'll listen to stuff like that, and I found that'll usually cheer me up, or is a good stress reliever. If it's not too hot or too cold, I'll go for a walk, something like that. But singing with the radio is a good stress reliever. And the acoustics in a Freightliner is pretty good. At least I think I sound good. So I wish I could share with y'all where I'm going next, but I don't know yet. I'll find out hopefully tomorrow. And I'm still going to try to do a Tuesday night and Thursday night show. And we'll see how it goes. It'll depend on what kind of load I get. Gary Cook, channel member. When I'm mad, I go outside and scream after I feel better. There you go. There you go. But nowadays, people call the cops on you and they think you're crazy. But You can roll down your window and scream while you're driving. Sometimes that helps. Alex, for me, I really watch Trucker Todd videos. Well, I appreciate that. I've been told my soothing voice can put people to sleep, but any way I can help, I'm glad to help. Yes, exactly. Ted Van Buskirk says, Hair Nation. He's talking about the channel 39 on Sirius XM. Yeah, that's a pretty good channel. I've got Spotify on my phone. I've got like 1,200 songs in there, and I just put it on the AI shuffle, and it'll suggest similar songs as well as playing the 1,200 in my library, and you usually get a pretty good mix then. I got everything from Christian to heavy metal in there, even a little bit of rap. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator. I'm very unique. I don't stress no matter what the situation is. Things always works itself out in the long run. Yeah, my dad was always that way. He would say, if it doesn't matter in 100 years, it shouldn't matter now. And as I got older, I got more like him and learned to calm down a little bit. But I can reach a point where I'm still a little bit of a hothead, and I'm trying to work on that. I definitely don't want to stroke out again. Well, we're still at 27. Has anybody got anything they want to talk about? Any questions before we wrap this up? I'm going to check and see something real quick. Give y'all a second to type if you got anything. All righty, I guess we'll. Oh, wait, here we go. Gary Cook says he's also a channel member. You have to watch Nebraska that states like to pull surprise DOT inspections. Yeah, this guy wasn't having it that day. I don't think he even wanted to be out there. He was just sitting in his truck. I was the only truck there. And he was just checking for the dyed fuel. But he was friendly. If I'd have had more time, I'd have definitely stayed there and talked to him a little bit. He wasn't on a witch hunt by any means. And, you know, I think if you show up with a good attitude and you're friendly and professional, I think most of them are pretty reasonable. There's a few of them that are buttholes, especially the younger ones, the 22, 23-year-olds. This was an older guy, probably late 50s, early 60s. He just wanted to do the bare minimum he had to do, but he's a super nice guy. But Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator, Classic Rewind and The Blend are my go-to. Yeah, those are good as well. Gary Cook, channel member, is Scott still driving? Yes, sir. Yep. Matter of fact, Friday, when I was talking to him, he was just getting home from being running, and he went and got on his computer at the house, and that's when we were doing all the server settings checks and things like that, trying to get it going and working. So I felt bad because, you know, he deserves his time with his family just like the rest of us do. So I don't like bothering him when he's at home. I want him to have time with his family. But I really needed to get this fixed. So it became the nuclear option to call him in the evening like that. Mac T, you think that driver that caused the crash on 20 actually fell asleep? I-20 in Terrell. I hadn't seen that one yet. I'll have to check it out and comment. I've been so focused on fixing this email and my phone and everything that I've missed a lot of what's going on in the world around me. Well, I didn't have my phone in a usable capacity for almost 24 hours. I'll have to check it out. What happened? Give me kind of the high points on it. I've got to check out that Warner lawsuit too. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator. I want to wish a happy and safe 4th of July. I'll be at the house for a week. Enjoy your home time. I'm hoping to do another video, at least one before the 4th. So that's why I haven't said anything yet. But yeah, if I don't get one done, everybody have a safe and happy 4th. If you're working, be careful. The roads will probably be crazy. And if you're at home, enjoy your time with your family. All right, the chat has really slowed down, and we're down to 19 people, so I guess I'm going to hop out of here. You guys have a great night. Thanks for watching. And, well, we got one more before we leave. Gary Cook, channel member, DB Shanker driver that hit that guy in the basket while changing traffic light bulbs. Yeah, I did see that one. That one was crazy. And it's kind of scary because the guy, after he hits him, is hanging upside down and he's not moving. I hope he's okay. I did see that one. All right, now we're down to 17. Everybody's falling asleep. He crashed into slowed traffic, killing 5 people, 3 semi-trucks involved. Man, of course, when something like that happens, our first thought is always either did he fall asleep or distracted driving. Even now, when I pass trucks on the highway, I'm amazed at how many people are holding their phone up to their face like this. Cars and trucks, they don't even have it in the holder up on the dash. And with voice to text and like this headset, I can touch a button and it'll activate Siri on my phone, things like that. There's really almost, matter of fact, I just activated Siri. There's almost no reason to touch your phone. So I always wonder if it was distracted driving or like you said, if they fell asleep. Hopefully it's not something medical where he was having a medical issue like a heart attack or something. But I'll have to look into that. All right, folks, I'm checking out of here. Y'all have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you Tuesday night. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. Oh, hey, I'm going to play an outro for you. This is why I do this one more time.
And this is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down. Flying by these road signs with home on my mind. But these wheels turning round for my family and for my kids. For this life I wanna live.